If you were a kid who grew up being told they were mature for their age, the sad but true fact is that your parents and other adults liked you more because there was less of you. Other kids were loud and playing while you were nice and quiet in the corner. Other kids were always demanding adult attention. Look at me, look at me. And you were nice and quiet off by yourself. All the other kids were talking to their neighbor in class while you were just sitting there nice and quietly being praised and singled out by the teacher. Other kids asked for stuff from the adults. They asked a lot from the adults, but you just asked for nothing. You sat in the corner by yourself, content with what you had. The squeaky wheel gets the grease and you never made a peep. And why did you do this? Because you got a lot of praise from the adults. Oh, look at Johnny. You see, why can't the class be quiet like Johnny? Johnny's the only one sitting in his seat doing what he's told. And you can't lie, it felt good to be told that you were better than the other kids, or better behaved at least. And then you began to associate being good with being quiet, and you learned that in order to be loved, you have to be convenient. And the adults meant well. They didn't do this on purpose. At the end of the day, they were people too. The fact is, you did make their job easier. If they had 20 of you in their class, teaching would be a cakewalk. If all the kids in the house were like you, parenting would be a breeze. But the fact is, being mature for your age is not always developmentally appropriate, whether it benefits the adults or not. When the other kids were being loud and rambunctious, they were being their age. You need to be your age to get to the next one. You need to go through certain developmental phases at certain times in order to get to the next one and mature properly. When the other kids were talking in class and getting on the teacher's nerves, and getting written on their report card, talks too much to neighbor, they were developing their social skills. When the other kids were showing their true feelings and crying when they were upset and screaming when they were mad and asking for the toys that they wanted, they were learning how to assert themselves. The quiet, mature for their age kid often grows up to be an adult who gets left behind in those areas, and you see it wreak havoc in their adulthood. That same pleasure to have in class is now struggling to play catch up, all because they were sent the message growing up that it was virtuous not to take up space. Adults need to be careful what they praise kids for. It's good to praise kids. It's good to acknowledge that they worked hard, or acknowledge that they're smart, or that they're talented, or that they're well behaved and all that. But it's not a child's job to make your job easier. It's their job to be themselves so they can develop into their full selves, with correction and guidance, of course. Don't encourage them to make themselves small.